Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Sierra Signature channel, and for today's video we're doing something that I actually probably need to do. It's gonna help me out, and hopefully if you guys do it too, it'll help you out. Today we're doing the Down the TBR rabbit hole tag, and this was created by Lisa from Lost in the Story. I actually can't find her blog. I've seen other people link it in their original posts and it doesn't come up anymore, so if she doesn't blog anymore, that kind of sucks, but if she made a new blog or something and you guys happen to know, please link it so that I can give her proper credit, because this is something that it's gonna help your girl out. So yeah, anyway, here's how this works. You go on your Goodreads and you go on your to be read list, and however many books you have on your to be read list, you go through and you read the synopsis to have a refresher in your mind from however long it's been since you put it on your list, and then from there you decide if you actually are still interested in reading that book. I kind of did something like this on my blog like last month. I did judging books by their covers, and I kind of went through books that I added to my TBR list on Goodreads just based on the cover being cool. So you guys can check that post out. I'll link it down below. There are some books that I literally just added like in the last couple days that I know that I'm still interested in reading, so I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to skip some that I'm definitely still interested in reading that I know, but for ones that I haven't seen in a while, or I forgot, I can't even remember what the synopsis is just by looking at the cover, we're gonna go through and we're gonna decide if they're still worthy of being read. So if you guys want to do this with me, keep watching. Alright, so I have my Goodreads open, and apparently I have 65 books on my to be read list, and that's actually not that bad. I've seen people with like hundreds of books, so I don't know how people do this challenge when they have so many books to go through, so I'm kind of like, there's a squirrel. Oh my gosh, what? Okay, I was just visited by a squirrel. That's cool. It was just outside my window. Hi, great. Okay, anyway. The first book that we're going to be deciding on if I should still read it or not is the book called The Coincidence of Coconut Cake. So the story behind me adding this to my TV read list is that I actually got this book for free. I got an ebook version for free when I joined, I think it's Simon & Schuster. When you join their mailing list, they give you like a credit for a free book on what is it called? It's on Gloss. And this is the one that I picked out of the list of books that you could have picked from. So here's the synopsis if you guys have never heard of it. Actually, this video is going to be too long if I try to read the synopsis of every book that I'm talking about, so I'm just going to be giving you guys like a little TLDR of the book and of the synopsis, and hopefully that's good enough. I'll link the book. You guys can go check it out, but I don't think I'm going to read the whole synopsis just because that would take a long time. So, the TLDR of The Coincidence of Coconut Cakes. So basically there's this woman named Lou, and she is running her own French restaurant in a busy downtown area. I'm not really sure where the setting is of the book, but she's running this French restaurant, but it's kind of not doing so great. It's kind of failing, and so this guy who is also a food critic named Al comes into her restaurant, and in the synopsis it says that his review writes himself. It's basically the worst review that some restaurant could ever receive, and she is heartbroken. So she goes to the bar and she's kind of drinking away her sorrows, and Al just happens to show up, and he is celebrating the publication of said awful review of her restaurant. But of course she doesn't know who he is, he doesn't know who she is, and so they hit it off, and they're like, alright, we'll explore the city together and we'll explore all the different types of restaurants, but let's not talk about what we do for work at all. And so of course now there's a situation where she is walking around the city, I'm assuming, with this man who wrote the worst review of her restaurant, but she does not know that. So I think that is the like plot of the book. And yeah, I mean, it sounds like a cute book, but I mean, it's not something that like jumps at me. It's not something that I'm like, oh my god, I have to read this book right now. So I think just because I got it for free and it's something that I can easily read on an audiobook, and it's not something that I bought myself with my own money, I think I would keep it on my TBR list, but it's not something that I am like dying to get my hands on to read through. So we'll see what happens with that one, but I will keep it for now. The next book that we're talking about and deciding on if I still want to read is called The Spectacular Now by Tim Thwart. So, this book's TLDR is that there is this boy named Shutter Keeley who is actually like, he's a really great person to have at parties, like it says in the synopsis, and he's super social. He's a social butterfly, but he's kind of not academically there. He doesn't want to go to college. He will probably end up working in fast food for the rest of his life, and I'm talking about from the synopsis, okay? This is not me throwing shade. But, so he meets this girl named Amy, and Amy, as the synopsis says, is a social disaster. Sutter is like, alright, I'll take this girl under my wing and I will show her how to prosper socially, and then I will let her be on her merry way and go about her life. Thanks, my work is done here. But the end of the synopsis says that, like, she is just not like other girls, and now it's up to Sutter to either help her or ruin her life. Okay, I'm pretty sure by the way I'm speaking you guys can tell that I do not particularly want to read this book anymore. I really don't remember even putting it on my TBR, if I'm being honest. I don't remember where it came from, and it sounds like just a cliche riddled book that I'm not sure is something that jumps out at me. I think this one's gotta go. Alright, the third book that we're talking about in this Down the TBR Rabbit Hole tag is A Wolf Called Wander by Roseanne Perry and Monica Arminio. Okay, the story behind how this book ended up on my TBR list. I found this book in Target at the same time that I was picking up Little Fires Everywhere. And I read the synopsis and instantly, if you guys watched my last video, you know that the book series that got me into reading was Seekers by the Aaron Hunter, okay? And that was an adventure book about bears, and I was like, I'm hooked. So the TLDR of this story is that there's a wolf called Wander, and he is a pup, and after some wildfire, he is separated from his pack, and it's just like an adventure book following this little wolf pup. And it gives me such Seeker vibes, and I'm just like, I literally walked around Target for so long with this book in my hands debating. I was like, I don't need it, I don't need it, I can live without it. But I was like, oh my god, but it just reminds me of my childhood. And so I was so conflicted, and now rereading the synopsis, I'm like, oh my god, I'm still so conflicted. Like, I still think it's definitely a book that I want to read just because it gives me Seeker vibes, and like my childhood nostalgia just can't not let me read this. So the next time that I see it, I will get it. This one's staying on my TBR. Okay, 2 updates to the last clip. Actually, the wolf's name is called Swift. I thought it was just called Wander because of the book title. And also, this book is apparently based on a true story, which, like, I have to read it out. I just have to. Alright, next book we're talking about in this tag is Daughters of Nri by Rennie K. Amayo. I hope I said that right. The TLDR of the synopsis. Basically, there is a war, and the war leads to gods of the land, like, leaving the land for some reason, and the only remnants of these gods are in these 2 girls. They're twin sisters, and the story follows, I think, both of them, and like they're tested in ways that make them discover that they are lineage of this god, and like it's okay. They're black twin sisters, so our main characters are black girls, guys, black girls. Oof. Yes, okay, I'm sorry. The representation gets me so hyped, guys, okay? But the synopsis says that the Daughters of Nri explores an epic journey of self-discovery as they embark on a path back to one another. So not only is it person of color representation, it's dark-skinned black girl person of color representation, and also it's a journey of self-discovery and reuniting with your family. I have to read this book. It actually comes out in October, and I want to pre-order it like the moment I stop filming because I have to have this book. It's staying on my TBR. Alright, so I skipped down a little further in my TBR because some books were still sounding familiar and I kind of knew what they were about, but I found one that I haven't seen in a while and I just read the synopsis. So this book is called Mothership by Francesca Siegel, and the TLDR for this book is actually pretty simple. So the synopsis makes it seem like this is kind of like a diary entry styled book. It follows a mother who's had 2 twin baby girls, but they're 10 weeks early. So they're premature babies and they are stuck in the intensive care unit for neonatal birth. The book is just kind of like a diary entry style-esque of the mother's entries of the different kinds of challenges and things that the babies are facing as they mature and grow and hopefully survive. Here's the gist. Like, I'm not really sure if this is a book that I still want to read. I think Mothership, I don't know if I actually read the synopsis of this book when I like added it, because Mothership makes me think of something that's like space, obviously, that's very stereotypical, but it makes me think of some kind of like space alien thing. I did not expect like a story about like premature babies. I mean, I know that's a reality for like a lot of women around the world, but like it's probably not something that I would be interested in reading, at least not right now. I don't think I'm gonna keep this one on my TBR. It might be something that I revisit someday, but definitely not now. Next is There's Someone in Your House by Stephanie Perkins. Okay. So I'm probably gonna offend some people. This book was very popular when it came out. I added this to my list in November of 2017. And I added this to my list because there was supposed to be a book club at my high school, and the first book that they were going to read was There Was Someone in Your House. Okay, so I'm not very much of a thriller or horror reader, like at all. Like actually, I'm not a thriller or horror reader, but I was so excited about the premise of having a book club on my school campus that I was like, I don't care. It's something that I don't read, but it's fine. Like I will read it as long as other people would read it. So I bought the book and I had the book for a long time, and then the book club just didn't happen. So now I'm stuck with this book. The TLDR for this book is that it's kind of a and then there were none type of book. So it starts off with a group of students of Osborne High School, I think, and one by one they get murdered. All right, another one bites the dust is basically what this book is about. And I'm just gonna be frank, guys, this is something that I definitely do not want to read. I was only gonna read it because it was a book club thing, and I still have the physical copy somewhere in my room somewhere, but honestly, the next time I dig it out of wherever my old books are, I'm gonna donate it. It's not something I'm gonna read. It's going off my list. Alright, the next book is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. So I actually added this book almost exactly 2 years ago to my TBR list, and I'm still conflicted. Okay, so the TLDR of this book, and it's actually a trilogy, which I did not know, but I mean, I kind of welcome that. It's been a while since I've read a series, so that's not going to deter me, even though I'm usually a standalone reader. But anyway, the TLDR for this book is that it's set in Russia, and there is this little girl in a village, and the village in Russia is honoring and it worships spirits. There's this like winter spirit that comes and eats the souls of it eats unwary souls, and everybody fears it, but to keep it away from their house, they worship it, and it keeps it happy and keeps it away from their house. But her stepmother is all of a sudden comes in and she's like, nope, no more worshiping this god or this thing that is lurking around the village, this spirit that people like are afraid of. And all of a sudden, as soon as they stop worshiping it, all hell breaks loose in their village, and now it's up to this little girl to kind of like, you know, navigate this situation. Okay. This is something that I am still very intrigued by. I've watched reviews, I've read book reviews, and like honestly, it's still something that I'm super interested in reading, even though it's been almost 2 years since I like added it to my TBR and I still haven't read it yet. But the fact that it's a series, the fact that it's from another culture in Russia, which is something I have no idea about, I think it would be educational. I also think that it would be really cool because I'm super into like books that like are driven by some kind of like tale or some kind of legend. Like that's really cool to me, okay? It just sounds like something that would like keep me turning pages. Even though it's been almost 2 years, I think I will make it a priority to get around to reading this book and starting the trilogy because I don't know, I just like it, okay? It's staying. So with that being said though, I think that is the end of this edition of this Down the TBR Rabbit Hole video. Honestly, this is something that you could kind of keep doing and like keep cleaning your TBR, which I think that's the idea of it. So if you guys want to see me do this again, please tell me in the comments below, and I guess that's it. So I will see you guys on this channel next Sunday. Bye!